Coaches, please, if you do see questions in the queue, please limit your questions to one initial question. If we've got additional time allotted and our coaches' availability, we will work our way back around to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Andrew. How you doing?
Good, Coach. Please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Austin Peay.
Yeah, we went down to Austin Peay, good FCS football program. We knew that. They was in the playoffs last year. I said at the beginning of the week, I thought they was one of the top FCS programs in America that was 0-3. And we threw an interception first play of the game, man, gave them a short field, and defense went out and bowled their neck and held them 3 and out, and they kicked the field goal. We got the ball back, went down, kicked the field goal, tied it up. So we're playing good, solid football, and then we just got out our gaps a couple of times and gave up a punt return. And next thing you know, the game was getting out of hand. So wasn't the outcome, of course, that we wanted. So we watched that tape and learned from it, and got to try to get better. We got a tough opponent this week going down to Tallahassee to play FAMU.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, Coach Maynor, you are heading into SWAC play with a 2-2 record. You do have that tough road game against a formidable Florida A&M team that has that home field advantage. What is the mindset that you're instilling in the locker room, and how important is this game to set the tone for the rest of the season?
Oh, it's very important. It's the first conference game. It's the biggest game of the season because it's the next game. But it's the first conference game. Is on the road against the #1 team in HBCU football in the power rankings. A great football team in all aspects: offense, defense, and special teams. Coach Cozy's doing a tremendous job. He's just picking up right where Willie left off. And we got to be on our best A's and B's, man, and have a chance to beat FAMU at their place. Again, you said it. I think they got a 21 or 22 game home winning streak. I think it's 4 years or something, like 3 or 4 years since they've lost at home. So they expect to win this week and get off to a good start. And we did too. We're looking forward to the challenge. We're looking forward to the challenge of going down to Tallahassee and try to do what nobody's done in 4 years, and that's beat them at their place.
Thank you for that. And Coach, as a follow-up question, going into this, you have some quarterback play where you kind of utilize more than one quarterback. How do you evaluate the current play of your quarterbacks, and what adjustments do you feel need to be made offensively to put the team in the best position to succeed in such a high-stakes game?
Well, the quarterback position is the most important position, and those guys have to play at a high level. We ask them to do a lot. They have a lot on their plate. That's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why they're the quarterbacks. That's why they're the only other person on the football team to get wins and losses besides the head football coach. So they're different. They're different from everybody else, and they have to play that way. They have to be prepared. They got to make everybody else better. They got to make the O-line better, make the receivers better, got to make the running backs better, and they got to make your team better. So those guys got to execute. We got plays out there to be made, and they got to make them.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
Next question goes to Doc Holloway.
Can't hear you, Doc. You must be on mute.
Doc, are you there? All right. Doc, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. All right. Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, Charles. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I want to ask this question. What is it about the environment down there at FAMU that makes it such a difficult place to play in? And what is it that Alabama A&M is looking at doing in terms of trying to negate some of it?
It's that crowd, man. It's the crowd. It's the, that crowd gets behind them, man. I watched some of that South Carolina State game, and when they went down, and they just believe. They believe. They fans believe. They fans got loud. Gave them that shot in the arm that they needed, the energy that they needed to be able to come back and believe. I was just looking at how they react on the sideline after they scored, and the defense had to go back out and get a stop. And they was up, the crowd was up, and then when they got the ball back, everybody was up, everybody excited. They just believed that they was going to win the football game, and that goes a long ways. That goes a long ways with these young men, and they never thought they was going to lose that football game, and they didn't. So I think that that's one of the reasons that they haven't lost there in 4 years. You have to go there and you have to beat them. You if it's close, you're probably not going to get out of there with a W. So and then it's just so hard to beat that team that they've been so good for so long. To beat them by 2 touchdowns, it's almost like, you asking a lot. And that's kind of what you got to do if you want to go to Tallahassee and beat them in Tallahassee. So I think that's the reason why it's so tough to win there and they so good there.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive. Can you hear me now, Coach?
I got you, Doc.
All right, man. Sorry about that. Technical
You're
difficulties. Against Austin Peay, you only rushed for 57 yards and only averaged like 1.9 yards a carry. What are some things you're going to try to do as far as the next game against FAMU, against this front four defense, where you could try to get more of your running game established?
We just got to do a better job of staying on blocks, getting off our double teams, getting up to the next level. We wasn't getting to the next level. We got stuck on our double teams and weren't getting up to the next level. And then our backs just got to do a better job, too, of making somebody miss, breaking a tackle, getting the ball in the right hand, using your offhand to be able to break a tackle. So it's a combination of just more than just the offensive line. It's a little bit of the running backs, a little bit of the offensive line, a little bit not staying on the blocks long enough. That's just playing a little bit harder. So we're going to work on that this week and see if we can't run the ball a little bit better this week.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we will pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Would like to make this announcement. We will have some alternates filling in for Coach Bubba McDowell and Coach Mickey Joseph with Grambling State. Those 2 coaches are currently participating in the State Fair Classic press conference there in Dallas. So we will have some alternate coaches filling in for them during their allotted time slots.
Yeah, I had a blue screen that said that the host has joined.
Once again, for all of our media participants on our call, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could just start us out just kind of recapping this past week for your program.
Yeah, this past week we had a bye week, and the emphasis to the kids and the coaches is, it was a bye week and not an off week. So we still worked at getting better, worked on improving everything we're doing just from a small scale. And of course, took a look at our opponent next week, which would be Bethune-Cookman. So excited to get into SWAC play. We know that they had a tough loss, and I know Coach Woody have those guys ready to play. And so it's going to be a tough matchup going down to Daytona, fighting the heat and the weather and those type of things. So we were looking forward to the challenge, and we'll get the guys ready to play for next week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Coach Robinson, your team is currently ranked 8th overall in FCS for total defense, and you have been consistently holding your opponents to an average about 15.33 points per game. What key adjustments have you made offensively during the bye week to ensure some success during SWAC play as you enter into this next stretch of the season?
Yeah, well, I think we just have to be more productive in all areas. We ran the ball pretty well, but we still need to get more explosive runs, and the wide receivers need to step up and make some more plays. I think we have a good group of guys, and can't keep talking about how they're explosive and how they can make plays, how they can go the distance. And I think those guys have to step up and do it. And that's going to be the challenge. I feel like they can, and I think they will. And so that's the biggest aspect of it. From an offensive standpoint, is just be more consistent. I think the next thing that we really focused on this past week is just being more efficient on third down. We weren't very good on third down in the last game, and that continues drive. So we can't get into a rhythm when you keep having 3 and out, punting way too much. And so I think being consistent on third down is the biggest thing we have to improve as an offense.
Thank you for that, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday, HBC Overdrive. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Taking your team down to Bethune-Cookman in Daytona, it's a 2:00 game for you. And the biggest concern would be the heat on the field and everything. How are you trying to get your guys to make sure that they stay dehydrated and making sure that you can limit body cramps, basically leg cramps?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that you work on during the week. We had a big emphasis on that, of course, going down to that first game in Miami with the Orange Blossom Classic. So it's the same message, but you can't wait till Friday night to start hydrating. It has to start today, and that's the message that we're doing throughout the whole week. And other than that, the guys have to go out there and play. I mean, it's week 4. You can't have cramps and stuff like that to affect the outcome of the game. So everybody understands that, and the younger guys who have played quite a bit, they have to step up. You may have to get a series here or there, so your starter doesn't have to go 60 or 70 plays. But other than that, it's something that you work on during the week, and conditioning is you have to take pride in.
Follow-up question is with Zach Sims, how is he maturating as now when he's became the starter since he became the starter?
Yeah, he's a confident kid, and one of the first high school games I went to see as the head coach here, as a state championship game, and he was a 10th grader. Kid that got hurt, he came in and played quite a bit that season, and also had to start in the championship game and won the game. So he's same situation. That's what I explained to him. I mean, you're a young guy on the veteran team, and we expect you to step up here and make plays and be the starting quarterback. So he's taking that challenge. I think the last game helped him a lot. The bye week helped him a lot. So now he'll get 3 weeks of being a starting quarterback and getting starting quarterback reps. So now you have to come out there and play like a starting quarterback.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Super fantastic. How are you?
Good, good.
Hey, Coach. So I want to talk about your upcoming opponent's quarterback, Cam Ranson. He threw the ball for 382 yards and 3 touchdowns this past week. Talk about what you saw when watching him play and how your team is preparing to handle him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough kid. I mean, he's a left-hander. Finishes runs. He does a lot in the running game, but like you said, throwing the football, he's exceptional. Very talented kid. Probably one of the best in our conference. Probably one of the best we'll play this year. And I think we have to attack him and try to stop and limit what he does well, which is to me, when the play break down, he does a great job of continuing plays. So when it goes off script, he's able to make plays with his feet and still look down the field and still throw balls deep. And they'll take some shots, and we have to be up for the challenge. So cornerback, safeties, you got to put on your running shoes because you're going to get a lot of activity. And so we know it's going to be that type of game, so we have to be prepared for it. But he's going to be a tough kid to limit. You just want to try to slow him down, and hopefully he doesn't get into a groove.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we will pause momentarily. Next, we'll be joined by Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. Appreciate your patience. Thank you. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions for our coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. We also ask that you please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. If you do see several questions there in the queue, we ask you please limit your questions to one initial question. If we got additional time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus McNeese State.
Yes, sir. Took a trip to Lake Charles to one of the more improved McNeese ball club, and from the kickoff, things just didn't go well. Didn't play well. 3 and out. Muffed the punt. They score 50-yard play. From down here, we muffed another one, 14-0. Just couldn't get on track. Offense scored. We got an excessive celebration, short field. We kick it off. They score. It's 28-7 going into the half. Just never regained any kind of momentum. Never established a defensive outlook on the game, and so very disappointing, very embarrassing loss. We're a better ball club than we showed, and I got to do a better job preparing this team to go in hostile environments and play like ourselves. So a lot of improvement. We got to make some adjustments and got to get better, and that starts in the morning.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. One for questions for Coach Thomas. First question goes to Steven Robinson.
Good morning, Coach T. How you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed. What's up with it, Steve?
All right. Good to hear from you. I know we had touched on this during the preseason, your relationship with Coach Wade at Mississippi Valley State. You guys go back from the same neighborhood, same high school. But how would you best describe your relationship with him?
It's like family. He stayed at the house for many nights, many days. My mom cooked for him the same way his mom cooked for me. Him and my sister graduated together. He family. It's like cousins. Blood couldn't make us no thicker. Just proud of what he's doing in the profession. And he got a good ball club that's improving, and we got to be prepared for.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm blessed. What's up with it, Doc?
All right, I'm doing good. Your team was pretty much evened out as far as your team stats. The only glaring issue you had was the penalties, where you had 10 penalties for over 109 yards. And you also had time of possession. You had 7 minutes more of time of possession. But the outcome didn't go your way as you wanted to go against McNeese. What are some things you want to try to improve for this week against Mississippi Valley?
We got to get the penalties down. We celebrate on the sideline. That's our whole mantra. We got 15 yards that affected us that counted at 7 points out. We got to clean up some technique stuff. Got to kind of, we had a onside kick, a sky kick that we touched early. That was another 15. That's 30 yards in penalty there. So we got to be more disciplined from that aspect. And then defensively, we're not playing the ball that we've played, since I've been here. And so we got to get back to the basic fundamentals of tackling, limited big plays, because, Valley got explosive offense also. And so we got to be better, especially there. And that'll get our offense more opportunities to score touchdowns.
I appreciate your time, Coach.
Appreciate you, Doc.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Thomas. How you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Coach Thomas, right now your team is sitting in the middle of the pack defensively and second to last in offense in the SWAC. After a tough stretch of games outside of that win against Edward Waters, what are you focused on during this bye week to improve the chemistry and the overall performance of the team ahead of this in-state rivalry game against Mississippi Valley?
We got to be, we got to be way more physical at the point of attack. You got to be more efficient, throwing the football. But we also can't dig ourselves in a hole with a 14-point deficit that we got to come out and play out of. And that's forcing the quarterback to have to throw the ball more than he needs to. The offensive line doing a really good job establishing line of scrimmage and rushing. But defensively, we can't give up 200 yards a game. Besides that Waters game, we've given up over 200 yards in 3 games, and that's not us. And so we'll get that fixed. We'll do some things defensively to get that corrected because Valley is a very good offense, very good team, and we got our hands full, but we definitely can't let guys run the football over 200 yards on us.
Thank you for that, Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
This question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Yes, Coach, just your impressions of Valley. You kind of touched on it, but just maybe what you've heard, the scouting report on them overall, offensively and defensively, and any concerns. I know they've gotten off to a rough start as far as record-wise, tough schedule, but just your early impressions of their team after 4 games.
Fast. You'll see number 6 in the slot, number 13. We recruited those guys, know them. One of them hometown guy. But really improved. The score the record don't indicate how good they are. They're a couple plays away. You see them play versus a good Lamar team down the stretch. So we got to do a good job. We ain't in no position to take anybody light, and they're a really improved ball club, and we got to play sound, and we got to play, really good in all three phases. You know, you look at Coach Wade and what he's doing in his second year, you know, there. And he's really improved. That ball club has really improved, you know, even with the coaches leaving and the coaching carousel that he's had there. And so when we look at an improved Valley team that's going to be at home, that's going to be exciting, we gotta get, you know, get off to a good start. You know, we got to be able to play fast and limit the big plays and also tackle the football. And then we got to do a good job in the ball possession, you know, from an offensive standpoint. And so we're looking for a good ball club, to good game on Saturday, but we also got to rectify some things come in the morning when we hit the practice field.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Wish you well this week.
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything you do down in the Delta for us.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Morning, Coach.
Morning.
You kind of spoke about you two going after the same players in recruiting. Talk about what a victory means in that aspect, a victory in this game.
You know, it's huge, you know, especially when you can kind of own North Mississippi, you know, area where I'm from and Coach Wade from. You know, it always helps when you get one up on the team, you know, your hometown team. You know, recruits know us. You know, we spend a lot of time at the junior colleges and also the high schools. And so anytime you can take your product on the road and play well and give the kids a insight and a sight on, you know, what offensive, defensive, special team, a team they can be associated with is always huge. You know, kids now want stuff. So even from the cleats to the accessories, you know, nowadays kids look at it. So we got to be suited and booted, not from that standpoint only, but we got to play well. We're not playing well right now. We're not playing our brand of football. And so we got some things to clean up, but it definitely helps when you go and play well and win, you know, on these road games to be able to steer recruits from that aspect.
And Coach, your home field advantage is, you know, widely known throughout the SWAC. But talk about how tough of a place to play Itta-Bena, Mississippi is.
Always is. Always is. You know, I've lost some games there and won some, but all of them been close. You know, they don't give you anything. The travel, just getting there. You don't have to worry about the field no more. That turf will be fast for both sides, but it's always a dangerous place. And if you come sleeping in, you know, you'll be leaving sleeping out. And those guys, man, they be chomping at the bits down there. So we got our hands full. You know, we hadn't won one on the road yet, and it's a good time to start. You know, to be able to get that mark off our back. But we got to have a great week of practice and preparation to make sure we give ourselves all the advantages to be able to achieve that.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm blessed.
I wanted to ask this question. Obviously, you guys look at Mississippi Valley through a coach's perspective in terms of looking at some of the good things that they do. But how do you convey that to 18 to 22-year-olds in terms of not coming out flat versus a team that had a rough week the prior week before?
Just looking in the mirror. We ain't in no position to look at anybody. We kind of just worry about what's in the house. We're giving up too many yards on the defensive side, and we're not scoring enough on the offensive side. And every week it's been some in the kicking game. And so, you know, just in-house, you know, all we tell our guys that, hey, we got to worry about us. And right now, just looking in the mirror, we're in no position to come out flat against anybody. So we got to be able to just mature as a ball club. We catch the football, we got to maintain the football. You know, we can't keep asking for the football and get it and then give it away. We can't throw it to the other team. We got to be efficient. We can't have bad eyes on defense. And so no matter who we play, if we do that, we won't be successful. And so, you know, I deal as a coaching staff, we got to get these guys to play to our liking and our branding so we can give everybody that's associated with what we're doing a sense of pride. And we're not doing that right now. And so we'll rectify that starting in the morning. But we're not worried about, you know, what Mississippi Valley does, you know, from the past, from a historical standpoint. You know, we got to come out and take care of our own business.
Good thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned some pretty concerning things about the football team and what they've been lacking these first quarter of the season. What do you think is kind of the common denominator behind guys not taking pride in the way they play and kind of some of the performances they've been showing throughout the first half of the season?
Immaturity. You know, you look at some of the the mistakes, is out of this freshman. We got a redshirt freshman that catches the ball on the 1 yard line. We got a freshman punter that drops the ball twice in a row, and we work punting every single day. When we go hit the practice field, we got a redshirt sophomore, that goes on a double move for 50 yards. And so it's just maturity. Some of those guys got to hurry up and step up, and grow up fast. So we put them in those scenarios in practice. But evidently, I'm not doing a good enough job doing the practice sector for them to do it, in the game. And so I think the biggest thing is just maturity. And they got to grow up, and we got to put them in those situations or do a better job to get them to understand, what's asked of them, or get somebody else to do it. And so it's a collective group on both sides that got to get this thing fixed.
Coach, as follow-up, is that a byproduct of a not a new coaching staff, but a change of guard from McNair to you, and new players coming in trying to familiarize themselves with new roles, or is it something else?
No, it's all of it. It's all of it, because you take a position coach, just go to a coordinator, that's totally different. He's not been in that position. You take a head coach that was a coordinator that got to see, everybody. That's totally different. You got an OC that comes in and bring a new staff, and so it's a collective group of all of it. You got some new transfer portal kids. You got some kids that go from a 60% production rate to 90%. And we got 2 All-Americans right now. I think one don't have a sack, and one got too many drops. So it's a collective group as this whole team that got us in the situation we in, regardless of win, lose, or draw. We got to play well. We owe our fans and everybody that's associated with this great institution a better product, and we'll get it fixed. But it's really everybody, that's responsible for it, and it starts with me and it ends with me, and I'll get it fixed.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next, we go to Bethune-Cookman and Coach Woody. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thanks so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Clark Atlanta.
All right. Obviously we had disappointing loss. We played at home on the offensive side of the ball. Scored 6 out of 6 drives in the first half. We jumped on them. We had, unfortunately, 7 penalties in this game on defense, kind of uncharacteristic of our defense. We gave Clark, opportunities to extend plays, and that was basically all in a nutshell. Then we gave the ball up on special teams, that kind of shot us in the foot, and later during the game, we could have put the game away. We did not convert on the 3rd down. The game to put it away had an unsportsmanlike penalty, even we shouldn't even been in that position on defense, to pretty much put them out of field goal range. And then they kicked a 55-yard field goal, and then obviously they deserved to win that game. So, we got a lot of work to do. I know Coach Eddie Robinson, unbelievable coach, doing a great job at Alabama State. He's going to have those guys ready to go, so we got our work cut out.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Outstanding. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for taking my question. You guys had a stellar first half. Cam Ransom, he had a total of 105 rushing yards, 382 passing yards. You guys had a really offensive game, 477 total offensive yards. However, the offense struggled in the second half, and due to Clark Atlanta's adjustments, it was like a freeze out. So going into this game against Alabama State, who ranks 8th in defense overall in the FCS, what type of strategy are you going to utilize to make sure that your offense is able to score not just in the first half, but the second half as well?
Well, we just got to play discipline. Everybody got to do their 111. If everyone do their job, depending on what they give us and what we put out there as far as execution on offense. You know, we have to, you know, perform. You know, I mean, we can't sputter. And like you said, I mean, we definitely could have put the game away on a couple of situations, and we didn't second half. So we're gonna preach and work on finish. You know, that's the word.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Outstanding. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. Let's talk about the you had 12 penalties for 117 yards. Also had 2 turnovers in this game, but you also only had the ball for close to 23 minutes, where Clark had it for almost 37 minutes. What are some things you want to try to do to change up in the next game against Alabama State?
Well, we just can't allow people to extend plays. I mean, we knew that they were going to spread the ball out. You know, technique fundamentals, you know, not having that leads to penalties, you know, and not doing it the way that it's being coached. And obviously we have to blame ourselves as coaches, and we got to coach harder, you know, because what happens is when you have 7 penalties on defense, you know, that gives them opportunities to extend plays, and that's what we can't do. You know, we have to, you know, go 3 and out, and we have to make sure that we're doing things the disciplined way, you know.
And my follow-up question, Cam Ransom had over 460 yards of total offense, also had 4 touchdowns, but he was the leading rusher for your team. What are the things you want to try to do to try to kind of limit him from running the ball so much and getting your running backs back into the game?
Well, you know, obviously, you know, Cam, I mean, he has the ability to throw and also the ability to run, but we do want to spread it out amongst some of our other playmakers. You know, obviously, you know, we can help out that situation by, you know, making variety of calls. But what we want to do is we want to do the things that's going to keep moving the chains. And if he has to run and throw the ball, that's what he's going to do. But we definitely want to, you know, open up the playbook a little bit, you know, because for him, I mean, this year, you know, his first year playing, and we don't want to give him too much. But as the days and the weeks go, you know, we feel like we can open it up a little more so we can create more synergy around the offense.
I appreciate the time, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Tough loss, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, let's talk about the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that extended their final drive. What is the message to your team regarding that particular penalty and unsportsmanlike penalties in general?
Well, you know, like I said before, that's uncharacteristic. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, they know the standards, and obviously we done addressed that, and we're going to address it even more tomorrow when we practice, you know, and we just can't happen. That can't happen. I mean, that's not what we do, and that's not how we're going to be.
Was this a case of your team getting caught up in the moment and losing their composure?
Well, I just think that, you know, when you don't underestimate any opponent, and hey, next guy up, you know, if you don't understand that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Woody?
Awesome. And yourself?
Doing well. I want to ask a question because it's interesting you guys have Alabama State coming up here. Seeing that because Alabama State was basically in a similar position on last year, you know, having a loss early to a D2 school, but then basically being able to get back in it in a SWAC race. Just wanted to ask you, start of the year hasn't started off in a win column where you guys wanted. What are some of the positives that you feel like you've seen in the team that you can build on? Because at the end of the day now, SWAC play is about to start, and if you guys can go 1-0 over these next couple.
Yeah. Well, you know, being able to play those games before SWAC play, you get an opportunity to see a variety of individuals, in game situations, and that's what we've seen. Being able to assess the talent that we have on all aspects, offense, defense, and special teams. And now you feel, mentioning Cam, like I said before, I mean, he didn't start out the season as a starter. So, to be able to evaluate your players and just kind of see what they can do under the lights, that's the benefit. And then seeing, our guys improving in different aspects, that's when you feel like, hey, you got your team, you kind of know their strengths and their weaknesses, and then build upon the strength, and then obviously improve on the weaknesses. And that's kind of what we've been assessing each game, our strengths, our weaknesses, and how we're going to improve in all aspects.
No, and just a follow-up quickly here. Alabama State obviously has been mentioned earlier. They have a top-ranked FCS defense, not just this year, but the last few years. How was it that you feel you guys are going to be able to attack this defense to really be able to see some positives in this game?
Well, we got to take whatever they give us, and like I said, Coach Eddie Robinson does a great job, defensive minded. I mean, he understands, what it is to dissect an offense, and we got to be on our A game, and we can't do too much. We can't try to play over our head. We just got to do the things that's going to get us to be able to move the chains. Just take one play at a time and not get too far over your head, because like I said, they got a really good football team, and we want to make sure that we take care of the ball. That's the key, taking care of that ball.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, understanding that your team has yet to really get in the SWAC competition, coming off a conference play, non-conference play with a winless record, how do you not let that period set back the entire season?
Well, like I said before, I mean, this preseason is over. Now it's time for the SWAC play, and I'm sure everyone excited in the SWAC, to start SWAC play. At the end of the day, with the team that we have, I mean, we need to see the different components of what we have on offense, defense, and special teams. And, obviously now it's time to finish. We have to finish everything that we started. And I think that's been the situation. And the good thing is we know what we need to do to improve on our weaknesses, and then obviously escalate on our strengths.
As a quick follow-up, Coach, based on the way your team's performed so far this season, do you have to kind of like recalibrate some of the expectations you kind of had of the group coming into the season? Or are you still under the impression you have to still evaluate your guys?
Yeah, we still, like I say, those games was all about evaluating. At this point now, we know who, what, when, and where we're going, as far as a football program, and like I said, mentioning, I don't want to sound redundant, but, having an opportunity to kind of go in with, that 1 and 2. I mean, obviously we played 3 quarterbacks, but now we know that 1, 2, and 3, so it's all about, playing. It's all about getting that experience and seeing where your team is at. And it's a good thing now that we see where we're at and we see what we need to do to get where we want to be.
Coach Woody, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Florida A&M and Coach Colsey. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Troy.
You battle for 3 quarters, and you're still in the football game. And then you end up giving up a deep ball with about 8 minutes left in the game. So I think throughout the whole entire night, we did some good things, we did some bad things, but for the most important part, I thought we played all 4 quarters. Not just to the best of our ability, but to the ability of trying to win the football game. Obviously a learning curve. You're sitting here at 2-2, opportunity to defend, your SWAC championship, and as the HBCU champion, you get an opportunity to open up at home, and we're extremely excited to open up SWAC play.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions for Coach Colsey. If you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Doc. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good. Trying to pull up your stats right here from Saturday. Now you're going into the game. You were 2 of 14 on third down. You kind of matched the energy, but it was more of a sloppy play as far as having 13 penalties. And you also had the time possession. You had more on time possession with 33 compared to the 27 to Troy. What are some things that you want to try to do to go into the next game against Alabama A&M? And what are some things you want to try to fix this week leading up to the game?
Well, I'll start with the penalties. We had 2 penalties, or 3 penalties that extended drives, right? And when you get yourself in that type of game, when you get an opportunity to get off the field, you get off the field. So those are 2 of the 3. And then another one happened after a penalty that they incurred. Like they roughed our passer. We had a big play afterwards. We had a big play during it, and that penalty would have put us inside the 30, maybe inside the 25-yard line, which would have given us a better opportunity as far as trying to drive. So, I think the upsetting part to me was those penalties were by a couple of our leaders. Guys that know better, guys that even though playing hard but not necessarily playing smart. We went into the game, talk about the time of possession. We went into the game, knowing and understanding we had the ability to move the ball on them. And you look at the game and you look at, minus the 98-yard touchdown pass that they had, but we were pretty even as far as the yardage. We were able to gain some more yardage in the air, and they were able to gain some yards on the ground. But we went into the game knowing that we would be able to have some success, right? So. We got 12 points, right? The Miami game, we got 9. So our field goal team is pretty good. We've known that, but I'm looking for us to be much better in the red zone area. We knew playing Troy, we had to score touchdowns. Now you're going against an Alabama A&M that puts a lot of points on the board as well, and has done that throughout their time. Where we're gonna have to stop kicking field goals, and we got to get the touchdown.
Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Morning, Coach.
Hey, Perry, how you doing? Good morning to you.
I'm doing well, sir. I want to ask you about this past week. The Board of Directors of Florida A&M University named a new athletic director. If you had the ability to give a wish list to that athletic director, what are some things that would be on there for the football program at Florida A&M?
Well, we were doing our interview stuff today. Congratulations to Miss Angela Suggs. We announced her today. We had the press conference today. She's a FAMU alum. She loves FAMU. So I would just say to her, if I could, I think I have already, just love FAMU. Do everything that you say. I know you love FAMU. Your heart's at FAMU. I can't necessarily share my wish list, but what I would say is that if you love FAMU, continue to do so with the football program in mind.
Fair enough, Coach. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach Colsey?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Charles?
I want to ask this question, and I know coaches come on here and they sort of talk about balance, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But I wanted to ask, through the first, month of the season, where would you kind of assess your rushing attack?
We got 3 good running backs, right? And they all do, different things well. We got a punishing guy with size. We got another guy that can run, well after catches and does a great job of protecting, but also kind of slither in and out. And then you got my man Wu, who's real smooth when we run. I'm looking at it right now. I think we got to continue to make an assertive effort to get that going, because as you guys can see with Daniel Richardson throwing the football, we have a pretty good balanced attack as far as getting the ball to different people when we do throw the football. But us continuing to elevate that run game can only elevate our pass attack, right? We had some chances, I thought, on Saturday where we could have got the first down, right? And you know, as opposed to, you know, it being a 4th and 1, you know, whatever the case would be, we have the ability to push the power forward or, you know, dive ahead to get the first down. So I think we can do it. I mean, I know the advantage of our football team is our big and strong offensive line, and you got those 3 running backs. You have the type of offensive line that we have. You know, would love to see, you know, some more coming from that. But when you get behind, right, you know, we 4 games, right, we've played behind, right? So now you have to kind of throw the ball a little bit just to catch up. So I was, you know, talking to our earlier people, you know, this morning, you know, our local people, and I said, hey, I'd love to see how we would play ahead. You know, now when you play ahead, right, you've seen what we've done when we were ahead, when we ran the football for 8 minutes in a quarter and not letting the team get the ball back. You know, we've done that on 2 occasions. So, you know, I think we've done a good job for that part. But, you know, for us to continue to be great with the run game, that, you know, I think we got to be ahead a little bit more. So to start being able to do that.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. You've finished up non-conference play, playing back-to-back FBS opponents. What do you take away from those games in terms of like how much you now know more about your team heading into conference play?
Miami's a damn good football team. That's the first thing. Second thing I would say about Troy, I don't know if we got a chance to see how good of a team we are. Right, I think we, you know, I told our 70 players that traveled. I think we might have left one in Troy. I thought we did a good job of answering when they did some things. I think we had an opportunity to score some touchdowns as opposed to some field goals, and I think we're in a much better situation if we're able to do that. But what can you take from it? You know, we took that we could play. We had at times we could play with the University of Miami. For about 3.5 quarters, we showed that we could play with a Troy team that, you know, that's going to win some football games throughout the year. So, you know, but you know, you got an 85 scholarship compared to our 63. There were some advantages that Troy possessed that we didn't have. But I think our guys saw that we could play with those type of players, those type of caliber of football teams. So now, you know, you get yourself to SWAC play. You know, we understand that we got to play up to our level, right? We got to play up to our level. And if we can do that, we should win more than we lose. But you know, if you don't come out there and take care of your details, you don't come out there and execute like one of the top teams in the country, you could put yourself in a dogfight. So, you know, we haven't necessarily done that for full quarters. And I'm anxious to see what we can do and how we do it. But I still think, and I know we got a very, very good football team, but we just got to be able to execute at all times, right? And we haven't necessarily done that just yet.
As a quick follow-up, Coach, you talked about getting off to better starts in games, playing ahead, and playing a full 4 quarters. What's the recipe for doing that for FAMU, as you guys said in the conference play?
Well, you know, we deferred. You know, I think we've given up a touchdown. You know, the first couple series, first series or 2, and on almost every football game. So defensively, you know, we're gonna have to do some things a little bit different, whatever they may be at this time, as we continue to get ready for Alabama A&M. And offensively, right? I mean, we kick field goals. You know, we haven't scored at all, right? So, you know, just being able to slow them down on the defensive side and being able to put 7 points on the board from the offensive side. Easier said than done, obviously. You know, we've incorporated some things to practice that, you know, right after flex, making sure we're ready to go. But you know, we're a talented bunch. We got 8 football games left in the season. I don't want this football team to be labeled anything just yet. We only played 4 games. We played against 4 quality football teams, 2 of them being FBS programs. We're 2-2. You know, and I think right now, but we are 0-0 as we start SWAC play. So, you know, with the SWAC defending champions, with the defending SWAC champions, with the defending HBCU champions, we know week in and week out we're going to get every single team's best, and it's important for us to understand that because Alabama A&M is coming ready to play, not just to play us, but they're coming in to beat us. So we must take that challenge on head on.
I appreciate it, Coach.
No problem.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Hey, thank you very, very much, and good luck to everybody this week.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we now go over to Grambling State. As mentioned, filling in for Coach Mickey Joseph will be Coach Jason Rollins with Grambling State. I do believe that we have Coach with us. All right, we'll pause here momentarily as we work to get Coach connected. Thank you for your patience. All right, we are working to get connected here with Grambling State. We do apologize for the delay. We'll be back here momentarily.
Okay.
All right, happy to be joined by Coach Rollins with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
How y'all doing?
Doing great, Coach, and as always, appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping Grambling State's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Man, great home crowd. Anytime you get Jackson State and Grambling together, you know you're going to bring out a big crowd. Great game day atmosphere. But overall, we started fast. Had an opportunity to get to a fast start, scored on our first two drives. It was back and forth in between. Had a little momentum, saving play at the end of the half where we had a defensive score. And that kind of propelled us into the second half where we were able to finish strong. And overall, we played a clean ball game with only 4 penalties and played 60 minutes of football.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
How you doing, Doc?
What's going on, Coach? How you doing today?
Doing well.
All right. Since you're the defensive coordinator of the team, your defense is so opportunistic where you lead pretty much FCS and turnovers taken. What are some things that you thrive on as far as your defense goes, and especially when it comes to forced fumbles and interceptions?
You know, you get what you emphasize. You know, we talk about it every day. We chart every strip attempt. Every time we touch the ball, it's charted. We have drills set up for takeaways. Coach Lee does a really good job of putting our takeaway circuits together. And Coach Joseph, he has certain segments of practice that's designed for protecting the ball and taking the ball away. So it's kind of what you emphasize, and we're getting a lot out of it.
I appreciate the time, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Hey, Coach, I want to drive down on that a little bit more because your defense has 11 turnovers in the past 2 weeks that you've forced. And that's just amazing. So congratulations to you in that regard. This Jackson State team looked unstoppable 2 weeks ago. Talk about what you did from a game planning scheme aspect to control that Jackson State offense.
Well, truthfully, we kind of kept it simple and just let our guys play fast and play with confidence. We didn't do anything different than what we've done in the past. We just kept the game plan simple so they could get lined up and play as fast as they possibly could and as physical as they could.
And now you have Prairie View coming up. And this could basically, a victory here would not only solidify you as the front runner, Grambling State as the front runner for the SWAC West Division title, but it would basically eliminate Prairie View, giving them an 0-3 record in the Southwestern Athletic Conference Western Division. Talk about the importance to this game.
It's a big game on a big stage. Anytime you're playing for a trophy, it means a lot. But not only that, it's a conference game in our conference opener on the road. Even though it's neutral site, you still have to travel. Truthfully, there are a few plays from being defeated in SWAC play. If you watch the film, you'll notice a play here or a play there, and it's a totally different record. So they have all our respect and all of our attention going into this week.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
You're welcome.
Currently taking questions for Coach Rollins with Grambling State.
Host, am I able to do another round?
You have another question, Doc?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. Going into the game with Prairie View, what are some things that you're going to see as far as offensive wise with the quarterback play, and what are some things you want to try to do to exploit their offensive line in this game?
I mean, they're big and physical up front. As you know, they can put a body on a body and they can move people. The quarterback is very athletic and they're very explosive outside at the wideout position. So we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's and be gap sound and keep our eyes in the right place and play a good, solid football game against these guys.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach Rollins. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Brandon King here with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab and SneakerShopTalk.com. Now, in your earlier comments, you did talk about the turnovers and that it's something that you all emphasize and practice and things of that nature. Now, with that being said, when you go into a game, is there a goal or a set amount of turnovers or defensive opportunities along those lines that you look to create?
No goal at all. It's just muscle memory. What you practice, what you get in the game. So if you catch them in practice, strip them in practice, or scoop them in practice, you're going to do it in a game. So we chart everything in practice as far as how many strip attempts you would have, how many interceptions or PBUs, whatever you may get in practice. So if you continue to do it and you continue to emphasize it, it just shows up in the game. It's not blocking and tackling. If you continue to block in practice and tackle well in practice, game.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Rollins?
I'm doing well.
TV definitely has, one dynamic receiver for sure that pops up on everybody's radar, Shamar Savage. Southern did a great job this past weekend, really being able to limit him. What are some things that you guys have seen that you really be able to take advantage of, not allowing the big plays from the guys on the outside that you talk about that could be explosive?
I mean, it's hard. Now, he's going to have all of our attention. It's hard when you have a dynamic player like that. For the most part, you don't stop them. You just hope to be able to contain a guy of that caliber. So, we're going to have a bunch of eyes on him, and I promise you that we will, because he has our full attention. Now, if I tell you anything else, then they're going to game plan for it, right?
That's true. That's true, Coach. So I want to ask you too, as well, from the offensive side of things. How do you guys feel about the play of Miles Crawley so far, especially this past 2 weeks? Haven't seen him put up as much yardage as he is capable of, right? But still being able to move the offense right and being able to be effective. How you guys feeling about the play of Miles Crawley so far?
Oh, great. Miles is our undisputed leader of our team, and we follow his lead. Our guys rally around him. He's playing really, really well. And at the end of the day, our goal is to be 1-0 at the end of. And so he's leading us to victory, which is everything that we want.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You're welcome.
Coach, as always, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next, we go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff. And Coach Hampton, once again, if you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Coach Hampton, thank you for your patience. Good morning.
Morning.
Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Central Arkansas.
Obviously, we had a big in-state opponent come here, ranked number 7 in FCS, and we knew it was going to be a tough challenge for us, but our guys were up to it. Came in here, we went right down the field, scored the first possession. We get them the second down, and we just missed the tackle, man. We knew the running back was a leading rusher in FCS and go for 56 yards. It's just like, it's an easy tackle. We didn't make it. And then we take the ball, go right back down and score again. And obviously had one of the best defenses in the conference, but our offense is playing at a high level. And then we get them the third down, and we don't drop correctly, then get in the right spot and miss the tackle, and he goes for another 50 yards. And now you got a ball game. And I mean, we had them on the heels. We had every chance to compete in this game and kind of measure ourselves as a program. But obviously they were able to pull away in the third quarter, come out to the half, we get a stop, and they punt the ball to us, and we get a redshirt freshman, he just drops the ball. So those were the kind of things. We made way too many mistakes to play a great football team, and we're not going to take anything away from them. I get a quarterback credit. He went 15-15, and 5 of those catches in the first half, they were sliding catches by his receivers. So we're making progress. Obviously, we're glad this part of the schedule's over with. We get a bye, and then we get ready to roll.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you about your receivers, because just looking at the numbers, I mean, last year you had one receiver that went over 200 yards. Now this year you've already got 2 through just 4 games, Giovanni and Armani. Damon's not far behind either. I know you got a lot of new transfers at that position. So what have you learned about this group of receivers through 4 games?
Tanner, I'll be honest with you. We got 3 more guys that are just as talented, if not better than those guys. And Makai's doing a good job getting the ball where it needs to go. This offense is going to be really good. We just got to continue to get the guys that go to the right position, and the ball will find you because Makai is seeing it. But, man, we've done a really good job of recruiting that position. And, again, Makai is he has an OC that believes in him, and they do a lot of meeting. And so what you're seeing is guys now starting to realize if I get to the right spot, the ball's probably going to find me. And so it's good to see those guys making plays, but obviously on Saturday, we didn't make enough plays. Giovanni has been our leading receiver, and he only had 2 catches, but then other guys step up. And so you're not going to be able to just say, we're going to stop this guy, because that ball can go to any number of receivers. But, the other part, I mean, we had 8 guys that were out, 8 guys that have started games for us, didn't even play. And so we're like the direction that we're heading, and we just got to keep working, and we need to recover from the first 4 weeks. We got a bye week, so we're excited about that.
And Coach, just to follow up on that, obviously bye week, no opponent to focus on this week. What do you want these guys to do this week to get ready for conference play?
We need to focus on us. I mean, we're missing way too many tackles. We still got guys that were here not playing up to the standard, the gold standard, which is, hey, it's all about blocking and tackling. And we're not doing a good job of tackling. We're fitting it up right, and at times some guys are not pulling the trigger when they see it on defense. That's frustrating. And then, just obviously when you play a lot of young guys, their eyes kind of get big, they're kind of hesitant. But again, man, I think we got like 3 or 4 true freshmen that are playing, that are making a lot of plays, but then they're making some mistakes. And we just got to cut down on those. Offensively, we just got to continue to find a way to score. I mean, every game we've played so far, I mean, the offense has given us a chance to win it. Even Arkansas, man, the first 3 drives, I mean, if those guys hit the correct hole, catch the ball, I mean, we're probably going to score at least 10 points, against Arkansas early in the game. So we need to focus on us this week, doing what the coaches ask you to do. And the coaches have to demand that the players do what we ask them to do. If they don't do it, then they don't play. So we need to become more disciplined as a football team. And if we do that, we're going to like the results moving forward. If we don't, we're going to have a lot of long nights, and there's going to be a lot of frustration on everybody's part.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, doing good, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. For the first quarter, you were able to hang in with Central Arkansas. The score was 14-10, sliding their way. But then, of course, you would say the Avalanche came through starting in the second quarter. What are the things that you want to try to do to in your bye week that you want to go ahead and kind of fix up, tune up, like I said, starting up for conference play?
Yeah, I'll say this about UCA. I know a lot of those coaches over there. That's a good football team. They got about 3 guys going to play on Sundays. Okay, we don't have those kind of guys yet. We're going to get some of them here. We got some young guys that's pretty talented. So what happened in the second quarter is we're moving the ball offensively, and then we get penalties. We had 11 penalties. All right, we had 6 holding penalties. All right, that number 8, he's probably going to be an All-American FCS. Ain't no doubt about it, he will be, and he's going to get drafted. Now, he ran down one of our receivers that ran a 60-yard catch. He ran him down. Okay, so now you look at what were they doing. All right, so we're moving the ball, and then we get a penalty because now we don't vertical set enough, and he runs around the edge. And he creates a tip ball, and they pick it off. So those are the kind of things that we got to work on. Just being very coachable, being very disciplined. And on defense, man, we got to just stay in our gaps. I mean, you hear the coaches talk about it every game. Like guys getting out of gaps, trying to do too much. And you got to understand a run blitz from a pass blitz. And those are some things that we got to get corrected. But this week could be a great week for us. Like I said, man, we had a tough schedule like most of these coaches on here. I mean, you play guys, you play Arkansas, you got Arkansas Baptist, which you should have won. We did. Then you play Tennessee State, a really good football program. And then you play a number 7 ranked team in FCS. And so now we get a chance to kind of take a break. When I say a break, you get a kind of mentally kind of refresh, but we know what's ahead of us, like every coach on here. It's an opportunity for us all to go out there and chase the championship. So we're going to work. Ain't no resting around here, okay? We're going to go to work on Tuesday like we do a normal work week. And so we got to get better. We'll keep pushing our young guys. They need to grow up. It's time. It's football time. You only get so many opportunities, and we don't want to waste it, especially the way our quarterback's playing right now and with the receivers that we got. And again, our 2 tailbacks, the guys that have been starting, didn't even play the game. And so now we still doing some good stuff. We just got to keep working.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Any final questions for Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff? All right, last question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach Hampton. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. How you doing, Mr. King?
Pretty good, pretty good. Brandon King with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab and SneakerShopTalk.com. Wanted to ask you, Coach, after these first 4 games, what have you learned about your team, and then what are some of the stackable positives that you can build on as you go into conference play, and then what are some of the things that you kind of want to get away from in terms of bad habits as well?
Yeah, obviously, number one, the thing we need to get away from is just the penalties, all right, to get us behind the chains, all right? If we can just stay on track, then we're going to be able to move football. Okay, because like I said, we got really good receivers, quarterbacks playing at a high level. We got talented running backs, and our tight ends are pretty good. And our O-line's done a pretty good job. I think we gave up 2 sacks this week to a team that's really, really good. And so I'm really excited about where we're at offensively. Special team-wise, we're not being special. We're not punting the ball. We had an all-conference preseason punter. He's not doing a good job, and we got to get him back on track. And then obviously on our return game, we're not straining on blocks. So we need to do a better job there. We'll shore that up. And on defense, man, we're giving up way too many yards rushing. I mean, we got guys that's not being physical at the point of attack. And so we'll be working on that this week. And obviously, you know, we knew we had some young guys at the corner position. Our best corner hadn't played in 2 weeks. And, you know, a kid that transferred from Liberty, I mean, he's pretty doggone good. But the problem is he can't never get on the field. So it's allowing us to play a lot of young guys. They get some valuable experience. But, hey, after this week here, hey, man, it's all hats in, man. Ain't nobody got no excuses. Nobody feels sorry for the Golden Lions, and we got to go play football.
Thanks, Coach. And let's move into the conference portion of your play. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we go over to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Wade. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, appreciate your patience with us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Nicholls State.
Yes, sir. Came off another tough loss. Just a really good Nicholls State team, a team that I'm sure you'll see in the playoffs. You know, we knew it was going to be a tough task, you know, just 4 weeks in a row and, you know, that being the finality of it. But again, we came out relatively healthy, so that was the most important thing. We turned our attention to a really good Alcorn team. So we get into SWAC play, so our season begins this weekend, and we're looking forward to it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Stephen, my man, good morning.
Good morning to you. I know we had talked on this last week in terms of playing your first 4 games on the road, stiff competition, a lot of the travel that was involved as well. But in terms of just the excitement centered around your home opener, your SWAC opener, your in-state rival, and playing on a new field, just talk a little about just that aspect of going into this game with Alcorn State this weekend, everything that's centered around it.
Yes, sir. I mean, man, we're super excited about it. You know, so these past 4 weeks, we've been on the road. So we've traveled over 3,000 miles over the past month, you know, 50 plus hours on a bus. So just to be home, sleeping in our own bed, you know, we're very excited about that. And, you know, everybody say this a rival, but, you know, in order for it to be a rival, you got to win some games. So we hadn't beaten this team a whole lot lately. So we are excited about the game, getting an opportunity to mix it up with Coach T over there at Alcorn. We know he going to have his guys ready, so they won't come in here sleepwalking. He understands who we are and what we're about, and we understand who they are and what they're about. So it's going to be a very exciting game. I can tell you, you know, it'll be standing room only. I'm sure we're going to have people from all over the Mississippi Delta and surrounding areas here. So we're excited about it.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Wade, how you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Doc.
I'm doing good, man. The glaring issue was the turnovers. You threw 6 interceptions in this game, but also you rushed for -7 yards. What are some things that you're trying to going to look at as far as going into the home opener against Alcorn?
Yeah, I mean, we knew trying to run the ball against these guys was going to be a tough ask. We knew we wasn't going to be able to dent the line a whole lot. Those guys are 2 gap guys, so they kind of hold you up at the line of scrimmage to kind of prevent, you know, you from being able to get vertical on them. Turnovers, some of those turnovers just happened late. We was in desperation mode, and, you know, we was just fighting to the end. So some of them, three out of 6 of those turnovers, just kind of throwing the ball up and almost just kind of in prayer mode, just, you know, just showing these guys that we're not going to concede. We wasn't going to hand the ball off 3 times and punt it. So we was just super aggressive, and it led to a lot of turnovers. So again, we got to be better up front. We getting our SWAC tackle back this week, so that's going to help our offensive line. We got another guy coming back, so we should be a little bit better running the ball this week. We're looking forward to it.
And my second question is, what are you trying to do as far as with the team, as far as getting them morale up for the game and for conference play?
Yeah, so in a team meeting yesterday, you know, we just kind of reaffirmed our commitment to the process. We understood that these 4 games, I mean, they were tough, but we're tough. We built for it. But again, like I told the team yesterday, we could have been 4-0 in that 4-game stretch and still wouldn't change anything as far as, SWAC play. So this here is when it really begins for us. So our kids are good. We happy as hell right now. We ready. We're excited to get into SWAC play. So we're ready to go out there. We're ready to compete. So we hadn't lost any sleep. We reaffirmed our commitment to the process, and we look forward to getting out there this weekend.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Good morning, Coach Wade. Ty Miller with the Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Good morning, Ty.
Coach, you mentioned that you have an all-conference tackle returning, and statistically, you've had some difficulties on both sides of the ball in the run game, stopping the run and running the ball yourself. So can you discuss and talk about, is it schematically or is it talent or is it a combination of your offensive line and defensive line just not being what you want them to be at this point?
Well, as far as running the ball, we know that our strength on offense is being able to get the ball on the perimeter to our playmakers. We do have to do a better job of establishing a run, and that starts with coaching. That starts with us. So obviously we've looked at it at ourselves first, and there are some things that we're looking at. We're going to just teeter with some things. We want to try to make it better for the kids. So we've looked at that. Defensively, it just gap, trusting the man next to you. Everybody just kind of trusting that their brother going to do their 111. You do your 111. It's nothing crazy schematically that we had to change, but there are some changes that we've made going into this game. We're going to do some things a little bit different defensively. But again, it's just kind of about everybody doing their job. I made some changes to the coaching staff. There are some people with us that's no longer with us, as of today. So there have been a number of things that's had to transpire, and we're looking forward to getting out there this weekend and just kind of putting a better product out there, because we're better than what our numbers indicate, regardless of the competition. We just got to do better holistically, players, coaches, and everybody else involved.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Yeah, Coach, we had touched on this during the preseason, and I asked Coach Thomas as well about it earlier during today's pressers. Your relationship with Coach Thomas goes back deep, some years, same neighborhood, same high school. How would you best describe it? Is it more like a big brother, little brother relationship? And to follow up with that, is it kind of bittersweet when you're going up against a guy that you know so well that you look at as family?
Yes, sir. It's definitely a big brother. Actually, it's big little brother. He's the big brother, but I'm bigger than he is. So he's definitely somebody that I've looked up to. He helped me as I climbed through the ranks. Any decision that I've made, I've always called him, got his opinion about it. So he's definitely somebody that he means a lot to me. Blood couldn't make us any closer. I mean, we're locked in for real. So I admire that guy so much. I watched him, as he kind of grew through the ranks. I remember him being at Mississippi Delta coaching when I was playing here at Valley, and bringing his DBs over and, using his personal car just to kind of help these young men out. So he's definitely somebody that I look up to, and I'm looking forward to getting out there competing with him. We both come from similar backgrounds, come from the same neighborhood, and we built the same. We cut from the same cloth. We as blue collars, they come. Certain type of people are only allowed around us. If you're not tough, you can't be around Coach T. You can't be around Coach Wade. And he detailed. He's so detailed. There's not a stone that's going to be left unturned when it comes to this game and any other game that he plays. So it's going to be a challenge, because he's going to have his game ready. And I can tell you right now, we're going to have our group ready to go out there too. So it makes for a good, fun matchup.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Wish you well.
Sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
So Coach Wade, when we talk about the offense, Nathan Revert is currently ranking 3rd overall in the SWAC with 26 receptions for 331 yards. You spoke about how the overall offense doesn't necessarily define your team. So how do you plan to set him up to make impactful plays against Alcorn State?
Well, we got a few playmakers. You know, Nate has done a really good job, but also Kendrick Ross, who leads our team in touchdowns. That's our job, to find a way to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. So, we missed a lot last week. This past weekend, we missed a lot. You know, quarterback made the right read. We just missed some throws. But again, our game plan is always centered around getting the ball around our playmakers. I won't go too in depth into it. I'm sure Coach T is probably still on here. So we definitely plan on trying to get the ball in those guys' hands. And we're a better team when the ball is in number 6 hands. We're a better team when the ball is in number 13 hands. And some of the other guys we got coming back. So we're going to keep finding a way to feature our playmakers and get them in space.
Thank you. And as a follow-up question, historically, the field has been hailed as the 12th man at Mississippi Valley. There's a lot of excitement surrounding the newly renovated field. And how do you plan to prepare your team to harness the energy of the home crowd and bring that, I guess, maybe that dynamic that's needed to have a one-up on Alcorn State as they come inside of your home?
Yeah, I don't have to say anything to those guys. We're home, and we're gonna protect our backyard. They're just who we are. You know, whether we on turf or the old grass we had, we'll do it on concrete. It doesn't matter. You know, so again, I don't have to say much to those guys. When you step on that field on Saturday and you feel the atmosphere, you can't help but feel it. So we're looking forward to it, and we more concentrating on just kind of doing our job and just focusing on just basic fundamental play and doing things we need to do. You know, the crowd is going to be the crowd. It's going to be loud. It's going to be exciting. But again, we still have a job to do. So we're not investing a lot of time speaking about what the crowd is going to look like and all those things. So again, we're excited to be home. I tell you, I know they're excited just to be able to sleep in their bed on a Friday night. So it should make for a fun matchup, as I said earlier.
Thank you. Good luck, Coach.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We now move over to Prairie View A&M, and as previously announced, we have Coach Green filling in for Coach Bubba McDowell. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could just start off by recapping the team's most recent game versus Southern.
We had a home game against Southern University, a SWAC opponent that we know really, really well. And we knew coming into the game it was going to be a big-time battle. And those guys were battle-tested, and more kudos to them as a coaching staff and as players. They came out and played well. And we have to circle the wagons now and figure out a way to get everybody going in the proper direction. And we've done some good things. We went to halftime with a lead. Now we have to come out of halftime playing good football and resurrect ourselves to win this football game. So more kudos to them. And we back at work today and going to be to work tomorrow for the rest of the week, getting ready for our next opponent.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Davis.
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning.
After 2 SWAC Western Division losses, what is the message to your Prairie View A&M team?
It's not over. That's the biggest thing we tell them, man. A lot of people want to tell us it's over, man. Y'all done everything that y'all can do. You can't fight anymore, man. I've been in this conference for a very long time, and I understand that I'm on the west side, and as we call it here on this campus and probably a lot of other campuses, it's the Wild Wild West. It's a lot of good football teams, a lot of good football coaches that's on this side. And it's going to be some games that's hard fought. We play every Saturday. So for the next couple of Saturdays, everybody's talking about they starting SWAC play on the call. And that's the best thing, because those other teams that we lost, we have to play other people as well. So we go out there and do what we can do. We control our controllables. We control our destiny at this point. Just have to win football games. You win out, you see what happens after that.
And Southern University this past week, did anything they do surprise you all? What was it, something that they did better than you expected? Did the game plan go as expected?
So we came out, and the first half, man, it was was a back and forth match, man. It's two good defenses. We start with that, two good defenses and two sound offenses. So, man, good defenses usually win at times. So, man, we were out and we were holding them and they were holding us. So we were able to get some things going offensively, hit a big shot, and then got a drive together. So we went halftime 14-3. After halftime, man, both teams came out as expected. It's just they continue to bang that game plan, and we got, I don't know, lax maybe a word could be said, but we have to finish the game. I think they done what their game plan was, and it's exactly what we saw on film. They mixed up some coverages, they mixed up some fronts, sent some blitzes, but all in all, man, I think both teams remained who they were to the end of that game, and they came out on top.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Southern was able to run the ball for almost 6 yards a carry. As far as defensive wise, what are you trying to do to improve, make sure like gap integrity and pretty much containment?
Exactly what you said, man. We got to fix the gaps. If we got a gap problem, we got to go figure out which gap it is, and we got to make sure our guys are fitting in the proper place. So that's the big emphasis, man. We talking about gap control, who has which gap, and it's not something that we just started, something that we've been doing since day one. We have to remain gap sound in everything that we do throughout the week, throughout the day, throughout the game. Every play matters. So that's the big emphasis, man. Let's continue to find the gaps. Spill when you're supposed to spill, step slant when you're supposed to step slant. Get your hands on somebody and shuck them off of you and go make the tackle.
My second question is Kobe Cavill with the 72-yard catch and score for the touchdown that put y'all 21-10. Give us a insight about Kobe and what he brings and provides to the team.
He is lightning in a bottle, man. He was here with us last year, man, and we couldn't. He was banged up a little bit. So, man, we figured out how to maintain him, how to get him on the field. So, man, getting him in the field and getting him situations where he's successful are great for us. We put some things together for him. We give him some packages at times, but for the most part, he's a every down player for us. We just want to get him in the game. When he's in the game, we're looking to make plays, not necessarily just to get him the ball, but to use him and use his skill set, his speed, his agility, his quickness to get him the ball and to get people to note on him and now get the ball to someone else.
Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Green?
How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I was going to ask, this game, I think we ran the ball 54 times, but only was able to average 2 yards per carry. I wanted to ask, what was the issue that you guys saw there up front? And also, I know early on, we saw the freshman Bingman get a couple carries. He seemed really effective, but we didn't see him later on in the game. What was the kind of the decision behind that, personnel wise?
First, man, whenever you running the football, man, is you get your ups, you get your downs, of course. So we ran the ball 54 times. We actually were able to gain 175 yards. But the situation is we took some sacks, partially O-line, partially quarterback, partially receiver, whoever it may have been, take the sacks, and that take your total down to 109. Now it looks like you only rushed for 109 yards. In actuality, you rushed for 175. So we were able to put some good stuff on film and do some good things in the run game. So we just have to nullify those sacks, man. Make sure that we're protecting the quarterback, make sure he's protecting himself and getting rid of the ball when he needs to get rid of the ball, and no negative yardage plays. Also, the Chase Bingman, man, he was in there, had some great runs. I'm with you. He made some great runs. So now he's still a freshman, so he's still learning the offense. So we don't want to throw him out there to the wolves, and now he loses his confidence. So we got him in there. We're going to get him some more reps. We're going to keep ramping him up as the season goes on to bring him along and help that backfield. We got a stable running backs we think are really good. So we want to continue to bring him along. And he was actually in the game late in the game, and it was some throwing situations, so he was unable to carry it, and it was some different reads we had on some different stuff. But to get him into the game is going to be a great emphasis going forward.
Gotcha. And then I was going to ask too as well. I know it seemed like Southern was kind of sending some linebackers there And it kind of seemed like there was maybe some miscommunication, maybe quarterback, running back, as far as the blitz pickup and things there. What was some of the issues maybe you guys saw, and how can those issues be fixed moving forward?
I don't know how many true issues we had. I think it was maybe one time we got mixed up on a protection and we sent it one way and maybe the back heard a different call. But for the most part, we were on par most of the night. It was one hit that he took, I think on probably the big play that was supposed to happen to Chris Herron down the left sideline, down the southern sideline. That probably been the biggest one. But for the most part, man, we were on par with that, man. Just got to continue to bang that rock. We knew that they were a heavy, almost 60% blitz team early downs. So we just got to make sure through practice, through all those different things, that everybody's on the same page with protection.
Thanks so much, Coach Green.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. I'm curious. Near the end of regulation, you guys had the ball before overtime. You end up settling for a long field goal, even though you had one timeout left that you used to stop the clock with 1 second left. Was the thinking there to try for the long field goal, or could you guys have run like one more play to get maybe a little bit closer than that?
Well, the clock was running down, and you risked the opportunity to run the play. Something happening, you may get the negative yardage play. We had got it to the point where we wanted to. We were being decisive on what needed to happen, and our field goal kick was ready. He's hit a 54-yarder, so we felt like at that time that 52-yard field goal was one that we wanted to attempt. We work on it every day in practice, so we're going to take that opportunity. As far as the time, hey, if you continue to run plays, man, you never know what may happen. Let the clock run down, call the timeout. We knew that they were going to try to ice our kicker, of course. So we went out there to kick the field goal.
Okay, my last thing for you is, Coach, you guys got down to the 1 yard line in overtime and obviously didn't score because a penalty really hurt you guys in that situation. How do you guys be better when you get down to the red area and goal line in terms of discipline execution?
Well, I'm the offensive line coach, and this is a statement that I told my guys, and this is a statement that I live by. When you get into the red zone, the offensive line job is to get the ball in the end zone, no matter what happens. And when you're on the 1 yard line, whatever it takes to get the ball in the end zone has to happen. So a challenge to my guys from here on out is we get the ball in the red zone, we get the ball at the goal line, the 1 yard line, we got to make sure we punch it in. I don't care what the call is, I don't care what the play is, put it on our back, and we got to get the ball into the end zone. And that has to be our mantra. That has to be our mindset as a team, as a group, and especially as an offensive line.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Coach Green, thank you so much for your time and for filling in, Dal, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we go over to Southern University. Coach Graves. Do you see that we have Coach with us? Coach, thank you so much for your patience. I know we are running behind schedule today, so just want to first tell you thank you for your patience and good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing really good, Coach. Coach, if you could please just start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Prairie View.
Yeah, we of course we were on the road and went down to over to Prairie View, Texas, to take on Prairie View at home. It was a very exciting atmosphere. The place was packed. The fans were fired up. The Jaguar Nation showed up, and we got into a really, really good ball game early on. We take the opening drive and we go down. And, first we had a roughing the punter, which allowed us to continue our drive. When we go down and we get in the red zone, we missed a few opportunities. We wind up settling for a field goal, and then Prairie View came back and they wind up scoring a couple of times in the first half. And so we were down 14-3 at halftime, and we had to make some adjustments and come back. And we were fortunate that the team stayed together, played together, and allowed us to come out victorious.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, I know Xavier T-Set didn't dress out, and I'm just curious, with an open date, what is the outlook for him going forward? Do you think will he be able to practice this week? Will you think he'll be available for the next game? And how is Noah's performance affecting the quarterback situation now?
Well, that's up to our sports medicine and our doctors to dictate how T-Set is progressing with his rehab and things of that nature. I know he's itching to get out. He's made tremendous progress. He went from crutches to a walking boot, like really like in a little to no time. So we'll see how it goes this week. So I'm not absolutely sure how long he'll be out. It'll just depend on how well he heals and progresses, and we'll go from there.
Could you also talk a little bit about Jalen Brown? Because as long as T-Set's not available, I guess he moves up to the number 2 spot. Have y'all been able to get him good reps in practice, and how has he looked?
Jalen Woods.
I'm sorry, Jalen Woods. My bad.
Jalen Woods is a good young quarterback who's the number 2 guy right now, and he's been getting his reps, and we had a chance to put him in a little bit on Saturday night. I think it's like anything else. With experience, you can only get better. So he's getting his reps. He's a sharp young man. He comes from a good program, and he'll get better as the weeks, the days and the weeks go by. So we're looking forward to continue to watch his maturation during this process.
How many snaps did he get?
I think he played, I'm not sure. I think he played a series or 2.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach. Big victory.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coach, let's talk about the resiliency of your team. Once again, slow start, but you all played to the end and extra time even. Talk about the resiliency of your team.
I had talked to the players. Players did a great job. Assistant coaches made the necessary adjustments at halftime to get those guys going. And the players, they took it upon themselves to go out, play for one another, and stay together. And they didn't allow the adversity of the game. Prairie View did a great job. They're a formidable opponent. We know one another well. Those guys, they had it on their minds to win, and win at home because they knew, it's tough when you fall back 0-2 on the west side and the Wild Wild West. So they were doing what they needed to do to make sure that they didn't. And our guys just stayed the course and fought to the end. And fortunately, we were able to come out on top.
And Noah Biden, is this the quarterback that you anticipated at the beginning of the season playing for you now?
Well, he's improving. Noah's improving. I think I'm probably harder on him than anyone else because I know it's more. He can give us more. And, we're going to continue to work with him and continue to help him and help him during the process of he's going through. And he's getting more comfortable. He's getting better every day. And so we just got to continue to keep pushing him. But as you can see, when he's in the zone or when he's focused and locked in on what he's doing, he's pretty doggone good. So we want to continue to just keep, fixing the things that are not so good and really encouraging him and pushing him to do those things he does well.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing good. Tell us about your defensive line. As far as the defense overall, got 7 sacks on Prairie View on Saturday, and give us a good glimpse about Sakelb Givens and what he did in this game to kind of cause chaos and confusion.
Well, the defensive line is it's an experienced line, and those guys play hard, play well. They get after it. Kelby did. Kelby's he's 100 miles an hour, and he wants to do everything right all the time. Sometimes people are going to try to double and sometimes triple team him, and what that does is create one-on-one opportunities for other guys. And so those guys, when they get an opportunity, they're taking advantage of it. And Darius Harry and Davin Cotton and Willie Miles and those guys, they're doing, and Jelani Davis, those guys are doing a really, really good job of defeating the one-on-ones and getting after it.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach. Wanted to ask you about Horatio Johnson also. Do you expect him back soon?
Hopefully we'll have him back this week. He tried to go, and unfortunately he wasn't able to go, but I think he will be back this week. We'll definitely have him back next week before our home game against Nichols.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Go Jags.
All right. Next, we're going to try to connect with Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. We'll be back momentarily. All right, we are working to connect with Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. We do apologize for the delay. We'll be back as soon as we're able to get him connected. Thank you for your patience. All right, happy to be joined by Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How everybody doing today?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, as always, thanks so much for your time. Coach, can you start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Lamar?
Well, our team is in high spirits. After beating Prairie View, we lost a game. We lost a game to Rice. And then coming back, we thought we had a game, and we ended up giving that game away to Lamar. All credit due to Lamar for winning the game. So I think our guys have went through every emotions of winning, or getting your butts beat very bad, and also giving the game away. So we have gone through every emotions possible.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Dishman, good morning. Ty Miller from the Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly. How you doing?
Hey, Ty.
Coach, you just mentioned the team gave the game away. In that last drive, Lamar capitalized on penalties, particularly the unsportsmanlike conduct and back-to-back offside penalties. Now, were those questionable in any sense, the offside penalty? And if not, what did your team learn from that?
Well, first and foremost, we always talk about the formula. Our team, our players know the formula. And the formula is to win third down, score in the red zone, have less penalties than your opponents, and you should be able to win the game. In that case, we end up with 14 penalties. We had 2 penalties versus Lamar. I pointed out this week to him, we had two penalties versus Prairie View. We won the game. We had 10 penalties versus Rice. We lost the game. We had 12 penalties versus Lamar. We lost the game. So as I pointed out to our players, less penalties, win third down, score in the red zone, you win a football game. So that's why I hope my players, not hope, I stress, and we're going to stress all week, of having penalties, less than 5 penalties a game, you should win a football game.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. You?
Doing well. Different starter in this game. You're going with Jordan Davis. What sort of went into the decision making with regards to Jordan getting a start in this game?
Well, Jordan earned the right to start this week. He practiced very well all week. It was his first start as a college player, and he practiced well. He did the things in practice we saw that we saw as a staff to name him our starter.
And the follow-up to that, Quintel Quinn looks to be a new weapon in the arsenal. Talk about his play this past week.
Well, I think Quentin got over 100-something yards rushing. Quinn also practiced well. Gentlemen, and I hope, gentlemen, I don't want to excuse the ladies if any is online, but like I've always told you guys, starters is named during the week. If you practice well during the week, you'll have an opportunity to start on that Saturday. Always an open competition. Our team is an open competition team. We don't name starters for the year and they starters for the year. You can get in and out the lineup. It's the way you practice during the week. And having Quinn and Jordan, that's a good examples of what we feel as a staff.
Thank you, Coach Dishman.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Doc, you?
Doing good. You held Lamar to 250 yards of total offense, but again, you just stressed the fact that your team had 14 penalties for 94 yards, but you also held the ball for 35 minutes in this game. Again, what are some other things that you want to do as far as kind of keeping that momentum as far as making sure as far as with the passing game being tough and physical when it comes to playing pass defense?
Well, Doc, like I said earlier, that penalties, you have less penalties, you should win the game. Lamar's a good team. In order to be a good team, you have to be able to be more physical than that team. You have to be smart. We didn't play smart football by jumping off sides. We didn't play smart football by getting a personal foul. And we're nor they're driving down in the 2-minute offense. We can't have penalties when they're driving on us. We have to be able to be smart enough, and don't be the get a personal foul call.
whether the calls are called good or bad, it doesn't matter. The ref call it, and whatever the ref calls is going to stand. I've never seen a ref call a personal foul, then all of a sudden change his mind, talking about no, it's not a personal foul. If he calls it, it calls it. We have to be smart enough to understand where we at.
Thank you again, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Isham, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, guys, have a great one.
Thank you. All right, next we're going to go over to our final coach, Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please also make sure that your lines are muted unless you are actively asking a question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you for your patience and good afternoon to you.
Hey, good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good, Coach. Appreciate you.
Good.
Coach, if you would start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Grambling State.
Tough loss for our football team this past weekend. We knew it would be tough going on the road. We had to play great football going down into Grambling, and we just didn't. Our offense, we had 5 turnovers, 11 penalties. I think that was a big difference in the football game. Defense gave up 2 early drives, and then they really buckled down and played a good football game after that. But as a football team, as an offensive unit, we can't turn the football over. I think they got 20 points off of those turnovers. So we just got to be better at taking care of the football and, limit the penalties in a football game like that. But, hats off to Grambling. They did what they supposed to do and came out and, won that football game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Coach Taylor, in the recent game against Grambling State, the team gained roughly 159 rushing yards.
Yeah.
It appeared that the run game was de-emphasized early in the contest. Can you explain the rationale behind this decision? And additionally, as you prepare to face Texas Southern, how do you plan to implement in-game offensive adjustments in real time?
Yeah, our offensive line has been playing at a high level. Coach Ramirez is doing a great job with those guys, and we knew we could take advantage of some of the things in our run game with some motions and stuff, and handing the ball off to those backs, and trying to get a couple of play action opportunities, off of those off the run game. So they did a good job, of going out there. And again, we was down a couple of linemen. Our center didn't start this past game. We had 2 new tackles in this game because of injury, but they, came out there and played good football. I thought Irv ran the ball well. Travis Terrell, J.D. Martin ran the football well. So, that's what we kind of hang our hat on here, run the football, and we want to play good defense. So very pleased with that. Going into this game with, Texas Southern, we just watch the film. We started preparing for those guys on yesterday. We'll get in there, finish up the game plan today, get out there and practice. But, any adjustments need to be made, anything different they give us, we'll look at those iPads and, make the adjustments and get ready for the football game on Saturday in Houston.
Thank you, Coach. And as a follow-up question, do you envision solidifying one quarterback as the starter, or do you believe that the current system still has a potential to succeed with more adjustments?
I do. I kind of like what they're, the way things are going right now. Both are playing pretty good. They didn't have their best game this past weekend. Would like for Cam to stay upright in the game. He's had 3 starts, 3 opportunities to start. In all 3 games, he's been injured, hadn't made it through the duration of the game. So, that's something we definitely got to take a look at, because it's all about rhythm with offense. And, with him going down in this past game as well, we'll have to take a look at it this week in practice.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm good, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy belated birthday to you also.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and the 2 interceptions. One of the interceptions where he kind of threw from the far right hash of the field, and the cornerback was opportunistic. what was the things that you told, as far as you told quarterbacks, going on to the next possession?
Mm-hmm.
What did you let them know that they need to do and what they not need to do?
Yeah, looking at Cam's interception first before the half, I think it was like a minute 40, minute 50 on the clock. We're down by 1 point. Just trying to get in position to get a potential field goal. You in your 2-minute offense right there. Had a play call for him that he was supposed to work the short side of the field on a curl route. He chose to work to the boundary. You just make your corrections off of it. He made a mistake. It was a great job by the defender from Grambling jumping on the route and making that play and turning the football over. But you try to stay positive with these guys. And it was early in the football game, a lot of football to play in that situation. The one Jacobian had, same deal. We had designed something for the tight end to pop open. Tight end's running wide open down the seam. He just drops the snap. And instead of trying to cover it up, he tried to pick it up and still try to make something happen. But those kinds of things happen in the football game, and we got to get it cleaned up this week in order to be successful because, we was right there in that football game. We just can't give them 20 points off turnovers and put our defense into that situation. Statistically, we did a great job, over 400 yards, threw for over 200, well over 200 yards. But anytime you got turnovers and penalties in the football game now, you're finding ways to lose a football game like that. But to answer your question, you just try to stay positive and talk to those guys about making the next play because they hard on themselves. They want to get it right. They know what I expect of them. So you just stay positive with them, as a coach and try to get them on to the next play.
And my follow-up question, we had a drive where on defense, Grambling was trying to drive the ball. We had them on third down, but then we ended up with a personal foul for the passer penalty on Lacey.
Yeah.
What are some things you want to try to do to clean up as far as the mental aspect of the game with the penalties, kind of limit the penalties because, like I said, you can't win a football game when you have 11 penalties for 111 yards.
Yeah, and that's what I told Lace in that situation. We got him backed up. You're playing the game hard, but no reason to go, hit the quarterback late. And it's the same deal as you was talking about the quarterbacks. You just have to shake it off because the players, you don't want them to getting too down on themselves. They're trying to play hard, do things the right way. He just got caught in the moment. We've been talking about it. We want to get to the quarterback. He's been playing good football all year. First time ever getting in a situation like that. He had a great game last weekend against Southern with the interception and everything, but he was just playing hard and, just got caught up in the moment and made a bad decision right there.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Doc.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Taylor. Good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Coach, one of the stats that we don't talk about a whole lot because sometimes coaches say it doesn't matter is time of possession. However, Texas Southern has been controlling the clock at almost a 10-minute advantage point on their opponents this season. So how key will it be for your team to even that out, if not control the clock yourself, and also to get off the field on third downs?
Well, you look at a Texas Southern team, they're running the football well. Anytime you can run the football well, you're able to control those minutes in a football game, so that's something that we got to really emphasize with our defenses, to come out and stop the run and flip vice versa that, when we were running the football well, we're able to, control the football game, control that time of possession. So, those are things that we're addressing. We see that they have been, winning with the time of possessions, doing a good job over there, Coach Dishman, with that football team. So we got to be ready to play and like I said, offensively run the football well, lean on those big guys up front and, being able to control the line of scrimmage with our defensive line against his offensive unit.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Charles Bishop.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
What's up, Chuck?
Hey, a quick question. I want to follow up on something that you had already touched on with regards to the style of play from Cameron. 3 games, and he'd been nicked up or dinged in 3 of those games. How do you go about the process of, kind of altering his style of play to sort of keep him upright?
Great question. I mean, we've been trying to teach him to just slide. That's the thing we've been emphasizing to him, to just get down in those situations when you're taking off with the football. It's something we've been stressing to him at practice to, you got to protect yourself, Chuck, because these guys, these defenders, they look forward to these quarterbacks taking off. So it's just something we got to continue to emphasize with him. He's been, going to treatment, doing the things the right way, but he has to figure it out too, as well as, just trying to get through those full 4 quarters of football for us and, staying on the football field and keeping that rhythm going.
Sure thing. Really quick follow-up. Large fan base of Jackson State fans out here in Dallas and Houston. How important will their support be for Jackson State this upcoming weekend?
It's huge. It's huge. These kids feel their support. They did a good job coming down to Grambling this past weekend. We know they're going to be there, but we putting it on our shoulders too to come back and rebound off a tough loss this past weekend. So we want them to be there. And we know they're going to show up. So we're looking forward to getting on that plane and coming down to Houston this weekend and playing against Texas Southern.
Sure thing. Appreciate it, Coach, and happy birthday, bro.
All right. Appreciate it, Chuck. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Taylor, again, another question, following up on something that Coach Dishman talked about. How difficult are the Tigers to prepare for Texas Southern when he has a philosophy of the guys who practice the best will be the ones who play, which means you may not necessarily see the guys who are normal starters?
I thought that was well said by Coach. I got the tail end of that, but that's what as coaches, that's kind of how we go about this thing, because he said it, we're in practices all week. And, we're evaluating these players, putting a lot of hours in, trying to get the best guys on the field. So I thought it was well said. And it goes back to a question I had earlier. It goes back, you just have to make those adjustments during the game. When you expecting a certain player and then you get another, athlete on the field, you just have to make those adjustments. But I thought it was well said by Coach Dishman. You evaluate your players all week to week, because, you got some guys might not be performing as well as they was last week, and this guy steps up this week. So you're going to get the best players on the football field in order to win games.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Taylor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. This concludes our SWAC Football Head Coaches Media Session for Monday, September 23rd. Just a reminder, all of these sessions are archived on the SWAC Digital Network. Thanks so much for participating. Have a great day.